All right, so we're diving into TNT It Rocks the World, this book you sent over by Claude M. Bristol.
Okay.
And wow, this Bristol, he doesn't hold back. He's basically saying we've got this untapped potential inside us,
Hmm.
this like inner TNT just waiting to be unleashed.
Right.
And he makes it sound almost like a superpower, you know?
It is intriguing, this whole concept he's putting forward,
Right.
especially considering when Bristol was writing this.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the 1950s,
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding after the war, this sense of like possibility, but also uncertainty about the future.
Yeah, totally.
And into that comes Bristol, offering this bold idea.
Yeah.
You can tap into this internal force for change.
Yeah, and he really hits you over the head with it. Like, he's not subtle at all,
Right.
comparing this inner power to dynamite.
Exactly.
But what I find really interesting is how he breaks it down.
Okay.
He's got these 3 taps, almost like a secret code to access this TNT.
Okay, yeah.
So tap 1, repetition. He says that by repeatedly focusing on what you want, it actually starts to like break down resistance in your subconscious mind.
It's like that old saying, repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But in this case, it's about replacing those limiting beliefs with ones that are actually empowering.
Yeah, yeah.
And, modern psychology, it actually supports this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with neuroplasticity.
Right.
It shows our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on the information they receive.
So the more you focus on something.
Exactly. The more those neural pathways get reinforced,
Huh.
making it, more likely to actually happen in your life.
It's kind of like we can reprogram our own mental software, which is a pretty wild thought when you think about it.
It is. And Bristol, he takes it a step further
Okay.
with tap 2, visualization.
Okay.
He's not just talking about thinking about what you want,
Yeah.
but creating this vivid picture of it, like in your mind, engaging all your senses, almost like you're already living it.
Right. Right.
And again, this isn't some mystical thing.
Yeah.
It's backed up by science.
Well, I mean, athletes use visualization all the time, right?
That's
To
fair.
mentally rehearse up their game.
Absolutely. When we visualize, our brains, they light up as if we're actually experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that can have a huge impact
Right.
on our behavior, even our bodies.
Wow.
Bristol even suggests like writing down affirmations.
Okay.
And get this, even talking to yourself in the mirror.
Really? Talking to your reflection.
Yeah, to like solidify that visualization.
Okay, that one's a little out there, I'll admit.
Right.
But I can kind of see the logic, you know? It's about reinforcing that belief
Exactly.
in yourself and what you can achieve.
Totally.
But it's interesting how Bristol blends all these different things together.
Yeah.
He's got ancient philosophy, modern advertising.
That's right.
Like, he even compares these taps to the way jingles get stuck in your head,
It's true.
you know, making you crave a certain soda or something. So it's all repetition and visualization, whether we realize it or not.
And that's where his advertising background really shows,
Oh, yeah.
He understood persuasion, how even subtle messages, if you hear them enough,
Right.
they get in there and influence you.
Wow.
So he's saying, hey, we can use that same power on ourselves,
Yeah.
advertise our desires to our own minds.
Okay, so we've got the repetition, the visualization,
Mm-hmm.
but Bristol doesn't stop there.
No.
He adds tap 3, knowledge and action.
Okay.
He's basically saying daydreaming isn't enough.
Right.
You got to back it up with real-world know-how and actually doing something.
It's about taking action, making it happen.
Exactly. He's got this great analogy. He says, knowledge without action is like a car without an engine.
Oh, I like that.
You can have the fanciest car in the world, but if you don't turn the key...
It's going nowhere.
Exactly. So how do we turn the key on our own goals? Bristol says it's about developing a backbone to support the wishbone.
Okay, I like that too.
And that starts with studying the people who've already climbed the mountain we're aiming for.
So learning from those who've gone before us.
Exactly. And he's not shy about who he uses as examples.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Gandhi, Julius Caesar, even P.T. Barnum. Talk about a mixed bag.
That's quite the lineup.
Right. But that's what's so fascinating about Bristol's argument.
What's that?
He's not saying we all have to become world leaders or circus impresarios or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's highlighting this common thread that runs through all these different success stories.
Okay.
And that thread is belief, unwavering belief in yourself and your vision.
I see. So it's about recognizing that while the goals might be different,
Right.
the principles, the core stuff, that's the same.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that while the goals might be different, the underlying principles, this self-belief in taking action, they're universal.
So he's like pulling these threads together, showing us that success does leave clues,
Yes.
and we can learn how to read those clues.
Oh, yeah.
By studying the lives of people who, they did extraordinary things.
Exactly. But, and this is important, he also says we shouldn't just try to copy them exactly.
Oh, interesting. So it's not about straight-up imitation.
No, he stresses finding your own path, your own unique brand of TNT.
Okay, so it's more about understanding the underlying principles and then applying them in a way that's authentic to you.
Yes. He calls it intensity of purpose.
Intensity of purpose, okay.
And it's not about being like loud or aggressive,
Right.
but this quiet confidence, this unwavering commitment to what you're doing.
It's like a fire that burns within, right?
Exactly. It's like a fire that burns within, fueling your actions, and it draws people in.
It's about owning your story,
Yeah.
your strengths, even your quirks, and using them to fuel your progress. Bristol seems to think that real success, it's not about fitting in,
Yeah.
but about breaking the mold,
Mm.
becoming the best version of you.
Yeah. I like that. Breaking the mold. He's definitely challenging readers to really think about what success means to them.
Totally.
He even says some people, they might achieve all these great things,
Mhm.
but still feel empty inside if they haven't tapped into their real purpose.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Right.
He's making a distinction between what you achieve on the outside
Yeah.
and that real fulfillment you feel inside.
Right.
And he's saying, look, true happiness, it comes from aligning your actions with your values.
With that inner TNT that makes you
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so it's not just about climbing the ladder,
Right.
but making sure you're on the right ladder in the first place.
Exactly. The one that actually leads you somewhere you want to go.
Exactly. But even then, even when you're on the right path,
Yeah.
he's not naive about it.
Right.
He knows there are going to be obstacles.
Oh, absolutely. Life throws curveballs.
Exactly.
Bristol's a realist, He doesn't pretend it's all smooth sailing. In fact, he seems to be saying that challenges, they're necessary
Oh, interesting.
for growth, Like, he compares it to driving a car.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to hit the brakes, take a detour,
Right.
but you don't just abandon the whole trip.
So it's about being able to adapt,
Yes.
to navigate those unexpected turns without losing sight of where you're headed.
Exactly. And understanding that those setbacks, those bumps in the road,
Mm-hmm.
they're not failures, they're opportunities
Okay.
to learn, adjust, and come back stronger.
So resilience is key.
Yes,
Yes.
it's a huge part of it. And Bristol even suggests that how well you bounce back from those tough times.
Yeah.
It's like a measure of your inner TNT.
Interesting. And he ties this idea of resilience to staying positive even when things are tough.
Yes.
He even goes as far as to say that negativity, it can actually hold you back.
Right. It's like that saying, you attract more bees with honey.
Okay.
He's not saying you should ignore problems or pretend everything's perfect.
Right.
But it's about facing those challenges with a belief that you can overcome them.
So it's more about focusing on solutions, not getting bogged down in the problems themselves.
Exactly. He's saying that our mindset, that attitude, it plays a huge role
Right.
in how we see the world and ultimately whether we achieve what we set out to do.
So to sum it up,
Yeah.
it's about recognizing that we have this power within us to
Yeah.
shape our own realities.
Absolutely.
Not just through our actions,
Right.
but also our thoughts, our beliefs, even our daydreams and visualizations.
Precisely. It's a really empowering message.
Yeah.
We're not just along for the ride. We're actually co-creating our experience.
I love that. So we've talked about belief, visualization, action, resilience.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more piece of this puzzle that Bristol keeps coming back to.
What's that?
Knowledge. He really emphasizes constantly learning, always observing.
Oh, absolutely. He actually says, keep step with the world's affairs. And then, get this, the better informed a person, the better he is equipped to get what he wants.
So it's about staying curious, informed.
Likely knowledge is power.
Right. He's saying that the more you expand your understanding of the world,
Yeah.
the more opportunities will open up for you.
It's like you're opening up your field of vision.
Right. Right. You can see more possibilities.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just have a dream. You have to educate yourself about it.
Yeah. Study the landscape, find mentors, learn from the best.
It's about actively seeking out those aha moments.
Right. Those insights that can shift your perspective.
Yes. And he even suggests that we can actually cultivate a kind of sixth sense for opportunity.
A sixth sense? Interesting. How do we do that?
He says it's about paying close attention
Okay.
to the world around us, the people we meet.
So really being present, engaged.
Yes. He calls it intensity of observation.
Intensity of observation. Okay.
And he says a lot of successful people have this.
Interesting. So it's like they're tuned in?
Yeah, like they're always on the lookout for those subtle clues that other people miss.
I like that. It's about training your mind to see the possibilities instead of getting stuck on the obstacles.
Exactly. And you know what else he talks about? Showmanship.
Showmanship, like being on stage.
Well, in a way, yeah. He says we're all performing on the stage of life.
Okay, I see where he's going with this.
Like, he uses examples. Gandhi with his simple clothes, or Ely Culbertson, the bridge player, who was known for his, deliberate quirks.
Right, so they use their personalities to stand out.
Exactly. But, and this is important, Bristol's not saying we should be fake or anything.
Right, it's not about putting on a facade.
He's highlighting the importance of self-awareness, authenticity.
So understanding your strengths, being comfortable with who you are.
Exactly. Even if who you are is a little bit unconventional, so we're all part of this big production.
Yeah.
Knowing how to play your part
Yeah.
authentically, that's key.
It's a whole different way of thinking about it, that's for sure.
Right. But Bristol, he also talks about intuition. Like tuning into that, almost like a sixth sense for opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He says a lot of our best ideas, those real breakthroughs,
Yeah.
they come to us when we actually make space for them.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, he's got this exercise.
Okay.
Find a quiet spot, close your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and just ask yourself a question, something you're struggling with, or a goal you have.
Okay.
And then just write down whatever comes to mind.
Anything.
Yeah, it says even if it seems weird or doesn't make sense at first, just get it down.
So it's like quieting all that mental noise
Exactly.
and letting those deeper insights come through.
It's like hitting the pause button on all the distractions.
Right, especially these days with
Yeah.
everything coming at us all the time.
It's nonstop. So, yeah, creating that space for clarity, I think that's really important.
Yeah, he seems to be saying that we all have this inner wisdom. We just have to, remember to listen to it.
Exactly. Sometimes it's about slowing down to actually speed up,
I like that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into TNT, It Rocks the World,
Okay.
what's the biggest takeaway for you? What really stuck with you?
I think for me, it's that Bristol, he really hammers home this point.
Yeah.
That we are not just like pawns in some game, We have the power to shape our own lives.
By tapping into that inner TNT.
Exactly. It's
Yes.
about belief, visualization,
Yeah.
action. Those were big ones.
And not giving up when things get tough.
Resilience. Absolutely. It's a powerful message, even today, all these years later.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we have the potential to create real change.
In our own lives and the world around us.
Well said. And for you listening, what's that one thing you're ready to unleash your inner TNT on? What's calling to you?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.